Top 10 Updates of Israel-Palestine War Number 1. Israel is forming an emergency government and war management cabinet. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and National Unity Party leader Benny Gantz jointly announced Wednesday. Gantz, a former defense minister, will join Netanyahu and current defense minister Yoav Gallant in a war management cabinet, the joint Netanyahu-Gantz statement said. Number 2. Qatar is mediating with Israel and Hamas to exchange women and children hostages held in Gaza in exchange for Palestinian women and teenagers held in Israeli jails, a diplomatic source familiar with the discussions told CNN's Becky Anderson. Number 3. Israel is hammering Gaza with airstrikes, hitting hundreds of targets, reducing neighborhoods to rubble, and killing at least 1,055 people, according to Palestinian officials. A humanitarian crisis is swiftly unfolding in Gaza, with hundreds of thousands displaced and many cut off from food and electricity. The enclave's only power station has stopped working after running out of fuel, the head of the Gaza Power Authority said Wednesday. Number 4. U.S. President Joe Biden called the Hamas attack an act of sheer evil and confirmed 14 Americans were killed, with others being held captive. Up to 150 hostages are believed to be held in Gaza, an Israeli official said. Meanwhile, the first shipment of weapons has arrived from the U.S. since the Hamas attacks, Israel said. Number 5. Israel is forming an emergency government and war management cabinet. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and National Unity Party leader Benny Gantz jointly announced Wednesday. Gantz, a former defense minister, will join Netanyahu and current defense minister Yoav Gallant in a war management cabinet, the joint Netanyahu-Gantz statement said. The government will not pass any laws or make any decisions that do not concern the conduct of the war, the announcement said. That implies that the controversial judicial overhaul will not move forward while the emergency government is in place. Number 6. Germany has so far evacuated from Israel students from 17 classes, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock told lawmakers Wednesday after a moment of silence in Parliament to commemorate the victims of the Hamas attacks. The children were evacuated by moving them on buses to neighboring Jordan, where they flew home from Amman or took flights through Reykjavik, Iceland, if direct flights to Germany were not available. Around 5,000 Germans so far have registered to leave Israel and will be selected according to urgency, per a government spokesperson. More than 100,000 German citizens, many of them dual nationals, are presently staying in Israel. Number 7. More rockets from Gaza fired at Israeli cities. Air raid sirens blared again Wednesday as a fresh salvo of rockets was reportedly unleashed by Palestinian militants in the Gaza Strip, targeting southern Israeli cities including Ashkelon and Ashdod. At least one of the rockets was said to have landed in Ashkelon, but there was no immediate word on casualties from the most recent barrage. Unverified images posted on social media showed the purported impact site of at least one rocket in Ashkelon. Hamas and other Palestinian factions have continued firing rockets at Israel since Hamas launched its unprecedented terror attack on Saturday, despite a fierce Israeli bombing campaign targeting the militants' fighters, command centers, and weaponry in Gaza. Number 8. An initial shipment of advanced weaponry from the United States has been delivered to Israel, the country's Ministry of Defense said Wednesday. The ministry released videos and photos of materials being unloaded from a cargo plane. The materials being unloaded were blurred. The Israel Defense Forces said on social media that the plane landed at Nevatim Air Base in the southern part of the country. Number 9. The death toll in the Israel-Hamas war continued to climb early Wednesday, the 5th day after the Palestinian militant group launched a massive, highly coordinated terror attack on Israel from the tiny Gaza Strip. The brutal attack has claimed more than 1,200 lives in Israel, including 14 Americans, and led Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to declare, "We are at war." Israeli military and civilian officials confirmed reports to CBS News on Wednesday of a massacre on a kibbutz near the Gaza border, with an emergency response official saying he saw with his own eyes children among victims who were beheaded in the community. Number 10. The Israeli military said Wednesday that it had identified at least 60 Israeli hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. Israel Defense Forces spokesperson Brig. General Daniel Hagari said notices had been given to the families of 60 abductees captured by Hamas. We are torn between our desire to bring credibility in reporting and the desire to be quick and give answers, and we will manage it responsibly, he told reporters. We see this as a primary mission, and